Okay, we're just going to break this down as it happens, okay?
All right.
Okay, so you skipped this thing. You didn't put your foot on this thing, and that's
On
where they
this
wanted
disc.
you to start
No,
on
no,
the
that's
disc.
right. That's right. So
You were
in
looking
the
for, you were looking for a platform, and there was no platform.
exactly, I was looking for a platform, but there was on the ground or a bit above the ground a rope. So I assumed this was the starting point. Start before this rope.
What
So
is the
I
name of
used
this obstacle? What is the name of this obstacle?
it's the Toros high to low rake.
Okay, so now we're going to see this woman telling you to go back.
Yep. At
So
this
when
point,
she tells you to go back, you assumed not to start the obstacle over.
no, because that's not an option in the Inviso OCR. So you have one attempt to complete the obstacle, and when you touch the ground, you're out. You lose your bend. So at no point I want to let go. And she gave me a verbal warning to go back. So I did.
Okay, so here you go back. You look a little frustrated. You touch it.
With both feet, but it wasn't enough.
So now, who is this passing you now?
There's Jonas Drescher and Thibaut Debucher, who finished shared second.
And about what time in the race is this?
3/4 in. It's almost the end here.
Okay. So at this point, she's going to tell you to go back again to actually start on the obstacle. So we're going to go back and show that, except now the camera leaves. So from there, you do complete the obstacle as she described.
That's right.
You finished the race in second. You fought your way back. Tell us about that last. How much is it? Like less than 1K?
Yes, it's like 800 meters with 2 technical rakes. So
that little place to go. You caught up that much time?
Yeah, I was so angry. I just went full out, and I managed to catch up with the third and second place. So I crossed the finish line second.
And you're very happy.
Well, happy and a bit confused about what just had happened.
So at that point, did you talk to any officials at that time after you caught your breath? Or did you just think, well, I'm second, I'll see you through the award ceremony?
No. Right away, I went to the race organizers because I wanted to check if my finish was legitimate the way it went.
Now, when you say race organizers, is this plural? Like, where did you go? Like, describe, because these are people. When people say the race or the race organizers.
So they have this little room where they coordinate everything. That's where I went.
Okay. And had they known about it already or no? Had they been informed already?
Some weren't.
Okay. So tell me how that went. Did you say who's in charge? Who do I talk to about this?
So yes, so first I went to the main organizer, and we talked about what had happened.
Is that Ronnie?
That I think that was Ronnie. Yes, I think so.
Okay, Ronnie Hoffenboom is the director of that country's FISO. Yes.
So I explained what happened, and he told me that if the marshal instructed me that way to climb back, because you can in the rule book it said you can get a verbal warning, which is a non-attempt ending warning. So if that was the marshal's call, then that was his call, and the race was as his was right.
Okay, so then you said, okay, good, I'm in second. I fought hard, I fought my way back. I'm a second place silver medalist here in Genk.
That's right, yeah. So I was at that point I was happy.
Okay, so then what happens?
So I had a little chat with Thibaut, who came in third place, and he was a bit unhappy about what had happened. But he said to me he didn't want to protest it because I passed him, and for him it was okay.
Okay.
But I think he was no, I don't think he was pressured, but other people told him to do the protest against me.
So his friends said, you should be in second.
That's
it's
right.
always the friends and family that feel like when these things happen, people get very excited. They're very passionate about their athletes, right? Like it just, I know that this can happen. So, what was next? Were you like cooling down or eating food, and then you started hearing what was happening?
Yeah, so I was doing a little bike ride to get the legs a bit loose, and I got a message about a protest being filed against me. So I went back to the race organization to check out what it was about.
Okay, and what did they tell you?
So they told me a protest was filed against me because of what had happened at that obstacle. You know, me doing it back and forth, basically 2 times back and forth, so 5 times. That was the protest about, which I of course wanted to appeal, because if it was like this, I would get a penalty, a time penalty, and I would lose my podium spot.
So at that point, they said if you don't appeal it, you will lose your time spot. So you said, okay, I'll appeal it.
That's right. Yeah.
And how do you file an appeal? Do you write something?
Yeah. So they first have to give you the protest, because you don't know what you're going to appeal if you don't know what the protest is. And they read the protest, and they basically denied the protest before I even had to do the appeal, because the protest was not so much against me as an athlete, but against the organization doing making a wrong call.
So then what happened?
So then what happened? We started a little discussion with the head of World's Obstacle, Ian, and a member of the Dutch Federation was involved, and who supported me, of course, and the head of marshals was involved. And we started talking about it, and they acknowledged that the appeal of the protest wasn't correct, because the rule book wasn't clear enough on, you know, the whole platform thing. What is a platform?
So now you're back in second.
I'm back in second, but because Thibaut, in his opinion, if the rule book would have been right, the marshal should have cut my band. And if that was the case, then I would have gotten a penalty. And in that case, I would not be second place. And for me, this was a bit of too many what ifs, but still they wanted us to share the second place.
Yeah, if my grandmother had 2 wheels, she'd be a bike. Right?
Yeah,
like, yeah. You can't say, well, they made the wrong call, but if they made the right call, it would have. That's not how sports works.
No.
They needed to stand behind their ruling that we're sorry, we got it wrong, and you're awarded second. That's in my opinion. That's how it goes. We'll fix it for next time, but this time our ref got it wrong, because that's what it is. Sports create rules.
Not only the ref, also the rule book was wrong.
Right.
They acknowledged.
Right. So that's on them, and you got to give you second place. Now, if you, I can't see a way that you both get second. I just can't. It's funny because when I saw the photo initially, I just thought you guys stood in the wrong place. I just thought, oh, well, they just forgot to move them over for the picture. I mean, I really thought that. And somebody said, well, did they both get second? And I said, I don't know. And then I heard about what had happened, and I was pretty shocked. So how much money is second place supposed to be?
They haven't specified it yet.
No, just like the Euro champs, right? Yeah. So once they specify it, second and third, you'll both be paid that divided by 2.
Exactly. Yeah.
So split the money. So that part is fair if you're going to do that. Did you ever get your money from the Euros?
Yes, it should be coming in October.
When was the race?
June.
And they said October for payment.
Yeah, I first had to fill in a tax form for to pay taxes in Hungary. But eventually I will get it in October.
No, wait. I'm not talking about this race. October's only a couple weeks away. The Euros from June.
Yeah.
Why would they pay you in October for the Euros in June?
It's paperwork.
My guess is they don't have the money and they're waiting for the money to come in from this race, maybe?
Well, I hope not. Well,
right, because the whole reason it was delayed the whole reason it was delayed in the first place from June was that they had said, we're going to pay all the bills, then we'll decide what the prize money is. We'll let you know.
No, that was last year in Italy. This year the prizes were set.
They were set.
So I got a check on the podium.
Check?
A check. What's it in English?
I'm having fun with you. So how much did you win?
So 1,000 for the short course winning and 500 for second place in the standard course.
US or Euro?
Euros.
How did you place today in the long course?
Oh, it wasn't my best day. I think I didn't even check the results. I think I'm 8th or 9th place.
Can you tell me a little bit about the guy who won the short course? Because nobody knew his name.
Oh, he's been amazing. He's came out of nowhere. We know him as an athlete. He usually finishes top 5 or top 10. But I talked to other Italian guys, and what they told me, he has been training like a maniac, waking up at 4, doing his runs, and well, it paid out. And
what's his name?
Really impressive. Oh, something Maria something. I don't know his last name. You should maybe check it out. Maria listen, something.
I'll look it up in a minute. Listen, man, I'm really frustrated for you. I'm also very frustrated for the sport, my friend. You know, you and I, we talked after the Euros, you and your buddy Steinemite. I feel like anytime I interview somebody, I know them that much more. So I just feel closer to them as a person, and you seem like a decent guy. So it's like sad day for Jesse, sadder day, an even more sad day for the sport of obstacle racing. Yes?
Yes, and that's why I'm sharing this story. It's definitely not personal, me against Thibaut. It's to share this story about how we need to improve the sport, what we can learn from it. Because in the end, yesterday, there were 2 people on the podium, which we both had amazing races. We both were very unhappy, and well, that's just not good.
Yeah, so I've reached out. I sent an email to Ian and Ronnie. They haven't responded to my recent email, so I hope they write back. I also know some other people involved who were there. I won't say their names yet because I don't want to call them out, but I hopefully can get an answer from somebody. I think it's a bad look, and it erodes the trust I often talk about with Spartan. It's never one decision that makes people upset. It's trust gets eroded over years of different decisions. It's like, you know, we don't have to make this about World OCR, World Obstacle versus Adventure, but we know this would never happen at Adventure. Adrian would never give 2 people the same award. He would make a decision and stick to it.
But there is one big important difference between the 2 in the race rules. Is in Adventure, the rules are very much standardized and they're very simple, and that makes the race so much easier for athletes and not different rules for every obstacle. That's a big difference.
I mean, we have had a few controversies. I can't think of one recently. I remember years ago, I think Hunter missed a bell or something, and it didn't happen till after the race. But again, he makes the decision and he sticks with it. You know, Rylan Shadegg crossed the finish line second, and it was a heartbreak, but he was immediately disqualified. Immediately. It was no, he's looking at the chalk on his hands, and he said, we've got to disqualify the guy. And he made that decision in an instant.
Yeah.
So, you know, that's what happened.
Yeah, but still, I think it's a good thing that they try to set up this structure to do it as fair as possible. So they have a committee who processes these protests, and I think it's better than one person making a call. But the rules are so much better in Adventure, because if the rules are good, it's easy to make a decision. And here the rules weren't good enough, so it turned into a complex situation.
Yeah, it's unfortunate.
Yeah.
But listen, you're a good athlete, right? You feel good about your performance yesterday. Today, not so much.
No, I was a bit fatigued. The weather was extremely hot for me, so I didn't have a good race.
How did your teammates do today?
So Stein came in 5th place or 4th place, I think. So that was really good. He hoped the podium, of course. But he's the more endurance guy between us. And Frank did extremely well. And Frank is our strength guy. So there was a sandbag carry over a mile up a mountain. And that's totally his kind of his cookie. So he got a really good race.
You know what this means, though?
Now?
You have to
No?
win the team race tomorrow.
Oh, that is the plan.
You have to, just to put a stamp on the weekend and to, like, you know what I mean? It'll feel great.
We'll always go for it.
I mean, obviously, I want my American friends to do well as well, but I wish you luck tomorrow. How would you describe, other than this thing, the organization overall for the weekend and for the race? Is it good vibes everywhere and everything feels, good?
So the vibes are extremely good, but that is very much on all the athletes coming together from all over the world. Organization-wise, the race is okay, is good, but there are still some things that need to be changed. Like some information was only sent the night before, or rule books was changed the night before. Start waves weren't known before the day before. That kind of stuff. Some obstacles weren't built because they lacked time. But still, with how the race went, they did a good job with that. But there's some room for improvement.
Okay. Have they announced next year's yet?
Costa Rica.
Oh.